Hey everyone, on today's video we're going to talk about how I own this 2016 Corvette Z06 essentially for free. Almost. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I want to talk about how I basically own this Corvette for free. Now there's some little asterisks that we should put in there. I don't actually own it for free, but I want to break down what I bought the car for, what down payment I had to bring, and then what the monthly payments are, insurance, things like that, so that you can see that you too can car hack. So I bought this car from Texas Hot Rides. They're in Carrollton, Texas. It was listed for $55,900 something. I ended up buying it for $54,500. The lender I used is a lender out of California that lends specifically on exotic cars and sports cars, mainly exotics and classics. So they require 50% down. So I did have to bring $8,800 down to get the car. But if you see my other video, which I'll link up here on why I bought the car and how I'm going to pay for it through Turo, that's how I'm essentially owning it for free. So if you're not familiar with Turo, Turo's a car sharing app platform, kind of like Airbnb but for cars. I originally got on it through a buddy of mine, Tim Key. He got on the platform, this is, I don't know how many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and started posting about, his success with it, and he eventually left his 9-to-5 because they were full-time Turo. They had like 12 cars or something like that in the Sacramento area, I think, or San Fran, one of the two. So my wife and I got on the platform when I was still at my W-2 job back in 2016, I think it was, and we had 3 cars on the platform then at the time. We had a Toyota Corolla, a Ford Focus, and a Kia Rio. And we were making about $400 per car net. So after all expenses, we were making about $350 to $400 a car, which was, an additional $1,200 a month of income on top of what I was making at my W-2. We eventually got out of Turo because at the time we were, when we were first in it, we were actually living close to the airport, and then we moved over to North Fort Worth, which is about 25 minutes from the airport. So our location wasn't very convenient for what we were doing. For the economy cars, you really want to be close to the airport or to like a downtown area, so it just wasn't working out anymore for us, so we got off the platform. So anyway, when I started thinking about buying a car, I really only like to pay cash. I really don't like to finance at all. The other 2 cars that we own, we paid cash for. They were, $5,000 cars. So I was trying to think of a way, how can I get a car that I want without actually paying for it, without coming out of pocket? And same way I do real estate, I leverage the bank's money or other people's money to buy properties, and then I refinance them into a long-term loan, and then tenants pay, or they're on Airbnb paying. So I figured, hey, why not do the same thing with this? So I got the idea. My buddy of mine, we both kind of thought, hey, let's do Turo to get these cars that we want. So he ended up buying an Audi R8, and if you don't know, he and I have another YouTube channel. It's called Cars and Castles. I'll link it up here too if I can, if they let me do 2 links, or I'll put it in the show notes. Show notes, it's not a podcast. Put it in the description below. You can check it out. Anyway, so he bought an Audi R8 2008, and then he's got a Cadillac CTS-V, I think it's 2013. So yeah, I was like, hey, I'm just gonna do this. So I looked at a lot of data to support my decision, because I didn't want to just buy it and hope that I could make money. So I was actually looking between a Corvette and a Maserati Gran Turismo, I know, which are 2 totally separate cars. But I was looking at actually a C6 Corvette, which is the generation before this one. I don't even try to think of the year model off the top of my head, but generation right before this one. And I was looking at the data, and on those, Turo's calculator for how much money you can make is, I don't think it's 100% accurate, but they were telling me on like a 2012 Corvette Grand Sport that I can make about $1,000 a month. And a Grand Sport is about a $30,000 to $40,000 car. So I was figuring, you know, if I can rent this thing out for about 10 days a month and make net like $80 a day, I would be able to cover my car payment and make a little bit extra on the side. But then the C7, which is this body style, it's a 7th generation Corvette, I just really like the way it looks. It's in my opinion the best looking Corvette that Chevy's made. So I was like, man, I wonder if I can do this. So I started looking at the data. Again, I was looking at the Gran Turismo and the Corvette, and both cars were gonna do really well. It just came down really now to what did I want for me and what did I feel comfortable with as far as monthly payment. So I went looked at a Gran Turismo, drove it, liked it a lot, and then the next stop was to look at this 2016 Corvette Z06, which are totally, it's like driving a Ford Pinto and then a Lamborghini. I mean, not really, but that's what it felt like, and I was instantly hooked when I drove this thing. So I had looked at all the data, and I was like, okay, I think I can make it work. Even if I only rented the car 6 to 7 days a month, I could cover the car payment and the insurance. So I was needing to list the car around I can't remember, 129 to 159 a day, and then get it rented out, you know, 6 to 8 days a month. So I figured, okay, I think I could probably do that. You know, this is a Z06. There were other Corvettes on the platform, other C7s that looked like they were doing fairly well. Their prices were kind of all over, but I figured I think I could make this work. So I bought it. So yeah, about a month ago, a little over a month ago, I bought the car. Again, $8,800 down. The monthly payment is $663.13. I got my notes here, I'm cheating. And my insurance is $104.01 a month extra on top of the other two cars. So my grand total monthly is $767.14, which seems like a lot. I mean, it's a lot. But within the first month on Turo, I made $669.95. So my out-of-pocket is about 98 bucks. I think I did the math right. 98 bucks to own a 2016 Corvette Z06. 98 bucks during a global pandemic. So we've had 3 rentals. The first rental, the dude only had it for about 12 hours. He rented it for his son's ninth birthday. That went well. The second rental was kind of where I made some of the bulk of this money, because the dude went over the mileage by like almost 100 miles. So Turo has, you can set a limit to how many miles you want people to drive your car. Most owners do have a limit to what you can drive per day, unlike Enterprise and things like that where you can drive unlimited miles per day. So he went over the mileage. I think I was only charging like $1 a mile, and he went over 96 miles, something like that. And then I ended up having to wash the car, which he got charged a fee for because you're supposed to bring it back in the condition you get it in. This third renter, the other day, was not really a nightmare, but the dude, I eventually got this tracking thing to where I could track the mileage, or track how they're driving my car. And I got an alert that he went 133 miles an hour, which, you know, the car is made for that, but I don't want someone driving the car like that. I have in the listing that you're supposed to obey all traffic laws and to not do any type of illegal activity. And so he was. I gave him one warning, and then he did it 2 more times. And so I said, hey, you need to bring the car back. So that's another story. I won't go into details. I got the car back later that night. Anyway, so I ended up charging him a cleaning fee as well, this is how you make some of your money, just a little extra money. And then I had to fill up the tank. Turo allows you to charge a $10 inconvenience fee. So that's how some of these numbers are getting bigger. So all in all, I still, within the first month, from the first reservation to the end of this third reservation, we made $669.95. So again, I'm only out of pocket $98 to drive a $55,000 car during a pandemic. So what that tells me is when this whole thing is over and people go back to normal, and you know, people are vacationing and renting cars again and traveling, because all travel's shut down right now, that this thing is probably going to do really well. And it might do too well that I might actually have to block off some of it so I can still enjoy the car. But anyway, I hope you liked this video. I hope it was informative. I just wanted to show you that you can also car hack if you want. Maybe I'll make another video on house hacking, travel hacking. I'm huge on travel hacking, using credit cards, promotions to get a load of miles. Right now I think we have over 150,000 miles, or maybe less because we actually use some, but at any given time I have typically over 100,000 miles in miles to use for travel. So anyway, another video another time, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, like it, let me know what you thought in the comments. If you're on Turo, let me know what how you're doing, especially during this pandemic. I know some owners aren't doing so well. But anyway, hope you liked it. See you guys on the next one.